welcome back to another live here with Design Bundles. Today we are going to be etching a tumbler with our Cricuts. Yes, I said with our Cricuts. If you guys don't know, this is trending everywhere. So today I'm going to show you guys how you can accomplish something that you would normally need a laser machine to do. So we're going to be using our Cricut today, and then we are going to be etching on one of these tumblers here. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so as you guys are joining here, welcome, welcome. Let me know where you guys are crafting from today. Let me know how's the weather, and did you guys enjoy the 4th? So if you guys are from the USA, let me know if you guys had any big plans or if anything happened out of the ordinary. You guys know something crazy always happens on the 4th. So today we are doing another giveaway, and this time we're switching it up a little bit. We're gonna give away 50 plus credits. And also in the comments below, you are going to find a link for 1 month free membership. So if you guys have been wanting to try out our Plus membership, now is the time. So today, we're basically giving it all away. So we're going to give away 1 month free of the Plus membership. If you guys haven't tried it out, use that link in the comment below. And then if you guys want a chance to win the 50 plus credits, use the hashtag Tumbler today. So hashtag Tumbler in the comments below, and you guys are going to have a chance to win those 50 plus credits. And then once again, if you guys are not a Plus member and you guys want to sign up, check it out for free, completely free, you guys can find that link in the comments. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen really quick. I want to show you guys the design that I am using today. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining us. We are so excited that you're here. Hello, hello. I see we've got Sherry. We have Ramona. We have Sally in the house. Oh my goodness. We have Hulda. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Julie. We have everybody joining. So welcome, welcome. Now, also, I have to admit today that I had to bring my pet friend. So I have my little bitty Shih Tzu here. His name is Coda, and let's pray he is not going to bark, because ever since I went on my cruise, my poor little dog, he just absolutely went crazy. He's had a little bit of a meltdown. So whenever mommy leaves, he gets really, really upset. And so today I couldn't help it. He did this howl, and I was like, you're going. So if he barks, because he can hear somebody in the next office. So he's kind of a little bit like, who are you? So, and also he's going to think I'm talking to myself here, but that's okay. So if he does, I may bring him up. So if y'all want to see him, let me know. His name is Coda, and I'll show you guys him at some point in time during the live. Definitely if he starts barking, we're going to have to show him. So y'all forgive me, today could be a mess. All right, so once again, welcome, welcome. As you guys are joining, make sure you use that hashtag Tumbler for a chance to win the 50 plus credits. So this is going to be the file that I'm using today, and I wanted to do something a little bit different. We spiced it up. We know that you guys love humor and stuff, and if you guys enjoy this content, we can definitely do more of it. So this one says, drink your, I'm not going to say the word, water. Now, this is a water tracker that normally you would see on those clear water bottles, which we have done tutorials on if you guys want to check it out here on the channel. But today we're actually going to etch that design into the tumbler because I thought it would be really, really cool. Now, my husband and my father-in-law, I always have to get on them about drinking that water. You know, on the weekends, they like to have a little beer or two. So what I wanted to do is I'm going to gift them these tumblers. I thought that would be super, super cute. And so this is the one that I'm going to work with. Now, you can definitely do more of the tumblers that are the 20-ounce tumblers, the ones that are taper, the 30-ounce. We've got a link down below for you guys. And then at the very end, we'll update this one because you can grab these at Walmart. So that's where I got this one right here. Now, the really cool thing about today's video, you've seen, and we actually have a tutorial coming, doing the etching process with the powder coated. This is actually rubberized. And I'm going to tell you, this worked a whole lot faster of a process, and it's rubberized, like I said. So if you're wondering if these Bubba ones work, they definitely do. So like I said, I'm using this design. I'm not going to use the tracker part for the back, but if you wanted to continue to add that on the back, I'll talk about how you could accomplish that because you'd want to do one side and then the other, but you can still add that on the back just to have a whole completed look. But that would be more for these transparents. If you want to do these water bottles, like I said, I've got a couple tutorials here on the channel doing so. So like I said, we're going to use this one today. But I also quickly wanted to show you guys there is a ton more. So all you simply have to do is type in water tracker. You can even type in like water SVG and stuff like that to see what else comes up. But here is a lot of those. So you can see these ones right here would be perfect. These are just SVGs. And what you're going to do is you're going to weld it or attach it to make them all one color. So you see we've got multiple colors here. That's a question I get. It's like, well, can we use those? Yes, because the one I'm using today, I've just welded it to make it one solid piece. So these ones are really, really cute here. So you can see that comes with a bundle of them, but we have tons of cute ones. Like check this one out. It says, oh, flock's sake. Oh, wait, sorry. So, oh, for flock's sake, drink your water. And then this cute one. If you guys love cats, we've got something here as well. So suck it up, buttercup, and drink your water. I think this one would be so stinking cute. But once again, you can add those trackers. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it on this side. You can add this tracker piece on the back too. But I don't really see the point. I would definitely be more for looks because you can't see through, but we're definitely going to work with that front end design. All right, so let's go over. I'm going to drop that screen down really quick. We're going to get rid of that. And I'm going to go ahead while you guys are commenting and stuff. I'm going to go ahead and share my next screen just so we'll be ready to go. And then I'm going to go over supplies really quick. All right, here we go. So let's go over our supplies that we are using today. Once again, welcome, welcome. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I'm so excited that you guys are here with us. So I've got my tumbler here. Now, what you want to pay attention for, there is a few different ones. Once again, we have a tutorial coming, and I'm going to talk about one that didn't work for us, and then the rest of them did. I've done wine. I've got a wine tumbler. I did all sorts of different ones. Once again, that video is coming very soon. Now, these are like those big jugs, but this one has a rubberized coating. So once again, you want to look for one that has powder coating or one that is rubberized. So this one, it's got that almost like a matte texture to it, and it did work. It worked super, super quick. All right, now this one right here, this one is powder coated. So you can kind of hear that a little bit. This one's powder coated, so something like this would work. Now I wanted to show you one that's more slender like this. This one would be really, really good for this design because the design is actually designed out, which I'll show you guys in Cricut Designscape in a minute, for taller water bottles like this one. So this design would be perfect for something like this as well. And once again, this one is powder coated. All right, now the next thing outside of the tumblers that you're going to need, your Cricut, of course. Now, the really cool thing is you can do this with your older models. So if you guys, let me go ahead and turn, I'm going to make sure that my volume is up here before we end up having a phone call. But you want to make sure you guys are using either Cricut, Silhouette, whatever die cutting machine you have, but you can use your older models of your Cricut. Cricut Explorer 2, Cricut Explorer 1, all of those machines are going to work, your Cricut Maker, right? So you need a die cutting machine, even down to your Cricut Joy. You're going to need a Brillo sponge. Really, it doesn't even have to be Brillo. It just needs to be rough. It just really helps to work that off. Now, keep in mind, when you do use something like this, it will... it can kind of scratch up that metal, which once again, I'll show you. So really, you could do a wash rag, honestly, and get away with it. And then you're not going to have any sort of rough marks on it. So that's something to recommend. But basically, you want some sort of sponge. You could probably even get away with using this side. I even believe some people are using the dry erase markers. Is that how you say it? The dry erase, the white ones? You can use that as well. You just need something to help remove that. All right. You want a weeding tool. I've got these tweezers here, but you can use your little weeder just to test, which once again, we'll show that in a little bit. I've got a sponge. You can use paintbrush. This is going to be for your most important product today, which is Citrus Strip. This right here is a stripping gel that helps strip off paint, right? So it works on this rubberized material, it works on that powder coating, and this is what's going to help us etch something. So if you've ever used an etching cream on glass, it's the same thing. So now you have an etching cream that is for your tumblers. Right now, this has been out for a long time. This is what, and you're probably already familiar with it if you make those glitter tumblers. So people have used this for a long time to strip the paint off, like if they've messed up or they want to pull off the paint to pull that off of those tumblers. So Citrus Strip here, once again, I have everything linked down below so you guys can easily find it. You can find all of these supplies locally at Walmart and things like that, right? So we've got that with our sponge. You're going to want a little cup to put it in. You know those little medicine cups? Those are perfect. But even scrap. stuff like this. This is actually the packaging to my Cricut tape. And so I've used this. I love to try to find a purpose for everything. And then painter's tape, right? So you need some painter's tape, which ultimately you could just use more strips of adhesive vinyl. You just want to protect it, which once again, we'll get into in a minute. Now, I think I've covered everything. You're going to want a squeegee here and some transfer tape. And then you're going to want the permanent adhesive vinyl. Now, I'm using StarCraft today. It works absolutely perfect. You just want something that's more permanent, that's going to have that. You could probably even get away with not permanent, but why can I not think of the word? But what do you call it? You guys help me out, but the word that's not permanent. You guys can also probably use that and get away with it. Now, remember, the longer something stays, the more permanent it does. So you could possibly put that on one day and then do it the next. But as long as it has a strong adhesion to where nothing can seep underneath, you're good to go. But I do recommend if you have it, use your permanent. And I'm using StarCraft. And I would recommend using an opposite color so you can see what you're doing. So I'm using a pink on a blue. I could have used a white or whatever, but opposite color. And then I'm using just my blue Cricut mat. Once again, I've got some transfer tape, maybe even a little measuring tape. All right, so the very first thing we're going to do before we switch over here, I'm going to show you guys how to get that measurement, right? So I'm going to go ahead and drop that screen down. Once again, as you guys are joining, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you guys want a chance to win today, we'll draw somebody at the end. Use hashtag Tumbler for a chance to win 50 plus credits. And if you guys want to try out our plus membership for 1 month free, there is a link in the comments below. All right, so to find that measurement, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. Hopefully you guys can see everything. I've got a little measuring ruler here, and I'm just going to figure out the dimension. So I don't want to go too far down. So what I ended up doing was I came up with 5.75. That was absolutely perfect. And so my width, I don't want to go wider than 5. So I ended up doing 4 inches wide by 5.75. All right. So that's how I came up with my measurements. Now, to show you this a little bit closer, this one right here has that logo down here, and it will come off. It's the same rubberized coating as this, and it will come off as well. All right. So we've got that. Now, something like one of these ones, as you notice, they may just have the one. And what I would recommend doing is doing it on the side that does not have the logo. So that's just what I would do personally. All right, so once again, I do have, I'm going to go ahead and bring you guys back up here and get ready to bring you guys over to Cricut Design Space. All right, so, oh, you know what I did not do? Let me go ahead and bring it back. Let me get rid of this screen really quick. All right, some reason it took me back. When I shared the wrong screen. Here we go, because they have the same design on them. Actually, you know what? I did share the right one. Ignore me. I thought it was going back to the other one. Okay, perfect. All right, so we've got Cricut Design Space open, but once again, I want to warn you that I had to bring my fur friend today, my little puppy, and he misses mom when I'm gone, so if he barks, I apologize. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to go and bring this stuff in so I can show y'all. All right, so I've already brought in both of my designs here. So this file in particular comes with the front and back. So I wanted to go ahead and bring them both in just to show you, just in case you are going to use both of them. But for a minute, we're going to scoot this out of the way. So I wanted to show you really quickly. So normally, whenever I select my file, what I'll do is I'll come up here. Say, for example, that my width is 4 inches. I would go ahead and start with one of them, and then it would be perfect. I'll just roll with it, right? And so that gives us 8.17 high. Well, that is too high for me. So that's not going to work. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to unlock it. So you don't have to leave our file. So this is just the way it was created. So this is created so on a longer tumbler like this, it can actually fit the link. So that's why I said these are perfect for these tumblers, but you can still manipulate them. You don't have to leave them like that. So what you can do is right up here, there is an unlock button. So you're going to click on that and you're going to notice that little guy unlock. Once you do that, then we can start to work with it. So now what I'm going to do is you can either drag it right here to adjust that, or you can do that right up here. So you can do 5.75, enter, and then I can go back here, change my width to 4, enter. So I have perfectly, I'm happy with that. So once I'm happy with it, I'm going to go ahead and lock it back. So now here is my design for my tumbler. You guys can already hear me. Come here, Buddha. It's okay. Come here. Come in. He's already worked up. Let me give him his ball really quick. All right, so this is, you know, you have to bring your kids to work sometimes. We're all working remotely, right? All right, so I think this is correctly. I'm going to double check myself really fast before I end up cutting this out, because I'm pretty sure this is what I did. So 5.75 by 4. So that absolutely looks perfect to me. So I'm happy with this. And so, like I said, I've locked it back. So I would do the exact same thing with this one here. I would adjust the exact same. So I would go ahead and unlock that here. And then my width would be 4. And then my height would be 5.75, enter. And then I would go ahead and hit that lock back. So and I'm going to show you the finished product here in a little bit. So you'll see with that chunkiness, it looks amazing. And then the important part is too, we don't want to cut this in multiple colors. You see all of these layers here. I'm just going to click on weld. And then I'm going to click this one as well. And then we're going to click weld. So now we have these two designs. So you see that here, we have 2 files, and these are going to be perfect. And that's how I would cut those out. Now, once again, I'm not going to do this one. I'm just going to stick with this one right here. All right. So now we're ready to hit make it. Make sure your machine's on so it can start to locate it. I'll go ahead and pop this guy open. And then we're going to choose that we're cutting on the mat today. Unless you're using smart material, you can definitely do that as well. And so this is another important piece. So we need a border all the way around our design because we don't want any of our citrus strip to leak off. So what I like to do is I like to move this down. I like to give myself a good inch border all the way around. So that's what we're going to do is I'm just going to make sure that I've got about an inch all the way around. So that's going to help protect us from anything seeping off. And then we'll still add in that tape. Like I said, I like to protect ourselves. You could definitely do a 1/2 inch, whatever you feel comfortable with. If you really want a whole bunch more, scoot that thing to the center, whatever you feel comfortable with. All right, so we're going to go ahead and hit continue. And then we are going to go ahead and get ready. So it's looking for my machine right now. And then we are going to select our material. So I'm using premium vinyl permanent glossy. You guys know I'm using the matte one, but I always use these settings. It's just what's worked for me and I've always left it alone. It probably works on the matte settings. I just never choose them. All right, so now it's telling us to go ahead and load it. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this now because we no longer need our screen. And I'm going to go ahead and drop you guys down really quick so I can show you guys loading this. All right, here we go. So I'm going to bring this in, scoot this guy up because we're not going to need those anymore for a little bit. And we're going to get ready to load this. So I am using my blue mat today. And I'm just going to go ahead and get this loaded. You could definitely trim it down to size, but I'm just going to go ahead and load the entire thing. And then I'll bring us back up here. And then we are going to get ready to load this. All right. This won't take but a second to cut out because the design is not a whole bunch of pieces. So when you do this, try not to find designs that are super intricate or that have super thin lines. Always make sure they're nice and big and bold. All right. So we're just waiting for that flash there. Here we go. All right. So while this is going on here, you don't need to mirror anything. You're just going to cut it as normal. So we're going to go ahead and let that cut like I said. In the meantime, let me go ahead and grab my little friend so you guys can check him out. Okay, and don't jump Jim. He's a little bit dirty today. So this is Coda Tay Tay. He is our baby, and he just turned a year-old last month. But ever since, I'm telling you, he thinks I'm talking to myself. Ever since I've went on my cruise, he cannot handle it. So he has to have my love. So I apologize for bringing him today, but I hope you guys love him. He's so sweet. He's just a baby. So his name is Coda Tay. I'm going to go ahead and put him back down. Oh, he's like, what are you doing? All right, so let's see. Also cute. Thank you so much. So like I said, absolutely love this process. And the really neat thing about it is if you guys have been wanting to do projects like this where you can engrave and it's a question, it's like, how can we fit this in our Cricut so we can work on it? You can actually accomplish these things. You don't have to go out and purchase a big old laser machine for something like this. And it takes practice too. So, you may find a tumbler and you really like it, but it's not going to work as well as others. You can always do a test piece first. Always get you a little bit of that citrus strip right on the bottom. A great place to do it and test. For example, on mine right here, I've got a little bit of that paint that goes under this lip. That's a great place to test where nobody's going to see it. And if it pulls it off, then it's going to work. And then you can figure out the timing too. So mine took around 10 minutes, but depending on where you guys are from and how warm it is, say, for example, I'm assuming once we get to those winter months and it's a little colder, it may take a little bit longer. So always keep that in mind as well. All right, so I'm going to flip this guy over. And we are going to peel it off. All right. And then I'm going to make sure and get that out of the way. I want to make sure. There we go. One more important piece I'm going to mention here in just a bit, I almost forgot, is that I do recommend, actually I can do it now while I'm cutting. Let me grab my scissors. One thing that I do recommend too is I don't recommend washing this in your sink. I highly recommend that you either take it outside, get yourself a bucket or a bowl. I haven't washed mine in the sink. I've been washing mine in a bowl. I want to say I may have done one in the sink, but yes, I did. I did one in the sink. But other than that, the rest of them, and I did it in a porcelain sink, but the rest of them, I've been doing them in a bowl like this. Now, this bowl I got from Walmart a long time ago for like $1, but you can get some from the Dollar Tree and designate them. So what I do is I put warm, almost hot, not to where you can't stand it, just warm water, if you will. And I just fill it up to about here. So maybe about here, just enough to where when I set this down, and you want one big enough to when I set this down in here, I can get my sponge and wash that off. And then I dump this outside. Because I kind of wonder, like say, for example, my sink has a coating. Yours may have a powder coating. I'm afraid it's going to eat that off. And plus, I don't know about the pipes and all of those things. So I would definitely keep that in mind for washing. I would do the bowl or I would wash it outside. And then also make sure you guys, I would recommend using gloves. I'm not using them today, but I would recommend using gloves. And also, I would be in a well-ventilated area. All right, so what we're going to go ahead and do is first, I'm going to go ahead and weed this out. So I'm going to go ahead and drop you guys down really fast. So I was just using these tweezers. Go ahead and get this up here. And I'm going to start to weed out. So what you're going to take away are the pieces that we normally would keep because this is a stencil. So we're going to keep the opposite of what we normally would. So I'm going to go ahead and pull all these pieces out. Once again, you see how easy these are. This is not an intricate design. You definitely would want to stay far away from something that was like a mandala or anything like that. So obviously, nice, big, chunky, bold design. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just quickly weed through all of these pieces here. Now, these tweezers that I'm using today, these actually came with some of my Cricut tools before, and I've had them for quite some time. And it was the first thing that I came to today, and I used it, and it's like really cool. It's almost like those stab and grabs, and I don't know. So then I just was like, this is what we're using today. And plus, it's what I was using to test. So I'm going to show you that as well, to test to make sure if everything was ready to go. All right. Yes, make sure that you guys are using that hashtag Tumbler because we are going to draw a winner. Now, if you are watching this on the replay, you guys can join our Facebook community group. You can also do it if you're watching the live, but the Facebook community group, we do giveaways over there. So that would be outside of lives. We have freebies, lots of inspiration going on over there, lots of other crafters. You can share your projects with us. So I encourage you to join that as well. Now, if you've been thinking about joining our Plus membership, you can join right now using the link in the comments below. And you get to try it out for 1 month free. And then once again, if you want a chance to win those 50 plus credits, use hashtag Tumbler. All right. So I've got this completely weeded out. Now, I'm going to bring this guy up here really quick so I can show you. Now, mine has a logo on both sides. I could have went in the center here to avoid the logos, but I tested mine. I wanted to make sure that it was going to come off, and I don't mind it. So if you want to, you could definitely try to avoid those or just use one logo or the next, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to double check because I don't want this kind of folding over like this. So I actually need to take a little bit off of the top and the bottom. So you could actually waste less material if you wanted to before you got to this point. But what I ended up doing was taking more off the top and the bottom and kept my sides. I need to straighten this one up a little bit. There we go. It's going to drive me crazy. And then I'm going to took a little bit off the top. Now let's see if that was enough. Don't get too close, though. Do not get too close to your design. So I'm just making sure when I lay this down, I don't have a whole lot of going over because you're going to risk bubbles and you're going to risk issues, okay? So this is good to go. We're ready. So now let's go ahead and get our transfer tape. Now, the next little trick I want to show you, too, with this squeegee here in a minute, this is what we're going to use to hold our tumbler. If you have the squeegee with the lines like this, it will perfectly hold that tumbler for you. So that's what's going to help set. This is how I set mine. I didn't leave mine standing like this. So while it's setting for that good 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it's going to take you to do it, I leave them setting like this. All right. So we are going to use that for that. But let me go ahead and let's get this guy out of our way for just a second. Let's go ahead and get that transfer tape. All right. And I'm just going to go ahead and get this transfer tape right on top of this. Hello, hello. I have that tumbler. Oh my gosh, yes, you can definitely check it out. I could put a vinyl on it. You could definitely put vinyl on it as well. I just wouldn't wash it in the dishwasher because it did stick. And that was one of my thinkings too. And this is why I like to test stuff for y'all was, say for example, that it didn't etch. But on top of it, I want to know, because say for example, you may find something, it's sometimes vinyl does not want to stick to it. So if, for example, you're doing a tumbler of some sort and your vinyl don't want to stick well, you're going to risk that citrus strip going underneath that vinyl. So keep that in mind. Make sure that it is adhering to it very, very good. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the squeegee here. And I'm going to go ahead and rub this down. All right, just to make sure it's picking up there. There we go. Focusing in on those little pieces, just like that. All right, so now while I peel this, let's go ahead and get this guy back over here. And you want to wipe this down as well with a clean cloth. Make sure that you don't have any oils or debris to make sure that vinyl is going to stick to it. So really quick, I'll show you that. You want to make sure you clean all that off as well, just like so, just to make sure those oils aren't going to prevent anything, okay? Then we're going to go ahead and take our handy dandy design here. So stinking cute. Once again, you guys let us know if you are liking this humor here. We always try to be super sensitive. I'm going to bring this down too so I can see what I'm doing. We always try to be sensitive, everybody. If you like these designs, then we can make more of this happen. All right, so I went right down in the center there, as you guys can see. Bring that back up, make sure you guys can see really well. I always like to get one side down, so I'll rub that center first and then rub one side and then come back and get the next, right? So now I'm going to take the squeegee here and start to work out any of those air bubbles. Once again, I'll finish working out any air bubbles that I may have too once I pull this off, but I'm just making sure that everything is adhered really, really well, because you can't go back and really scrape everything once you pull this off. So this is your time to really, really rub this and make sure that it's adhered, because we don't want any of that citrus strip. And you don't have to get any more crazier than you normally would, okay? I'm just making sure everything's down. All right. And now we're going to go ahead and get a corner here and peel off our transfer tape. Mine is tearing already. Once again, all of the supplies I'm using today are linked below, so you guys have some quick links to find it. Sometimes even just having that link to look at it and visually see and research and know what you're looking for and all of those things really does help. All right, so I'm gonna get that out of the way. Now what I'm gonna do is up here at the top, you see how it's wanting to kind of buckle, and that's why, like I said, you really don't want to go over. I did the same thing when I did this earlier, but you can really work those out. See how those are really starting to work down? And so you want to do that as well. And if they start to just kind of buckle like that, it's okay. As long as that buckle is not working itself back up, because sometimes these little buckles here will want to work their way back up, and we definitely do not want that. So now what I'm doing is I'm just double checking everything. I see a bubble right here, which will be a major problem. So you want to make sure everything is nice and smooth, just like so. I'll bring you guys up just so you guys can see it a little bit better too. So we have something about like this, and all I'm doing now is going like this, because you can't really take your squeegee at this point. Once you pull off that transfer, now you're just doing everything by hand, double checking. And it's not crazy. It's not like maybe I need to let this set for several days. Nope, you're good to go. As long as it's adhere, I always just kind of double check. Now we're good to go. So the next step that we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to set that guy down. Is we're going to go ahead and get some of our citrus strip. Now, I would recommend, I'm on this wood here, so I'm not too concerned, but you can take something like parchment paper, scrap. You can use the back side, which I'm using right here of that StarCraft. And then you want to go ahead and get a little cup of this right here. A little goes a long way, so don't get too much. So the medicine cup is really perfect. So if you have those, and then you'll be able to rinse them and reuse them over and over again. All right, that is probably way too much, but we're going to roll with it. So you guys can see that there. All right. And this doesn't have a super strong smell. It smells like oranges. Have you guys ever, sorry, my eye is itchy so bad. Have you guys ever smelled, so if you guys have ever been in like a mechanic shop or anything like that, you know those orange paper towels that have that liquid in them and you can get the grease off your hand? They're degreasers, if you will. That's what it smells like to me. All right, next thing you're going to do is take that sponge or that paintbrush, and we're just going to go ahead and dip in here. Once again, a little goes a long way. Don't get too crazy. Now keep in mind, oh, you know what? Actually, I have mine. We got to do our tape next. One thing that you want to make sure is don't sling this anywhere. You don't want to get it all over your tumbler because it's going to eat into that. So let me go ahead and add the tape, and then we're going to start to add in our citrus strip. Now keep in mind, we will do Q&A here in just a bit. So if you guys have any questions along the way, we've got some, I'm trying to think who else in the comments below today because Brittany is running this live. So we do have, usually Dawn is down there, but I want to say someone else is down there today. So anyways, in the comments below, there's usually somebody there to kind of help answer some questions. But if they can't, we're going to do that at Q&A. So keep that in mind. Let's see, I had no idea you could do this. Thanks for sharing. You are so welcome. And sometimes it just takes one person to try something out and figure something out. And then, I mean, you can just roll with it. So many different possibilities of what we could do. I'm going to turn this so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I've got the bottom there. And then I've got this one here. And you can really rub this down in just a minute. I'm just getting that tape on first. And you can use whatever painter's tape you want. Don't get too crazy with it. Whatever tape that you got. Once again, I could have used more strips, use some scraps. I could have put some more vinyl down. So you just want to make sure, it just helps because here in a little bit, once we get this on here, it's going to want to start to drip, right? And so this is going to help stop. In case I don't catch that drip, this is going to help me. This is going to give me that little extra bit of protection. All right, we got one more. I love the design. Thank you so much. I think they're so stinking cute. And like I said, I'm going to gift these to my husband and my father-in-law. So, all right. So what we're going to do here is this right here. All right, perfect. And so once you have that tape down, just make sure everything's smooth. The only thing I'm concerned with is the edge. So not the whole thing, just that edge. So I'll do the same thing, and I'll probably just go in this direction like so, down there, and like this. All right, now we're ready for this. Once again, use that squeegee because you want to keep it in this direction. Because if we do it like this, it's all just going to pour off this way, right? So this is something that you're going to monitor because it's only going to, something like this is only going to take you around 10 minutes, okay? So try to stick with it. You can kind of walk off, go do this if you're inside the house crafting and maybe you're going to do a load of laundry, but come back and I'll show you here in a little bit. I'll scrape my sides, put them back in here as I'm working, but it's only 10 minutes. It's pretty quick. So try to stay with it. So what I'm taking now, once again, I'm going to get a little bit on there just like this. And then I'm just going to dab it. I'm going to go ahead and switch cameras here so y'all can see. I'm dabbing it on here. Oh, I didn't even switch. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and dab it on here, right? Just like that. So you don't want to do a swiping because we don't want to push it under. We are dabbing, right? Just like that. And so you want a nice thick layer because if it's not on there, if it is not on this stuff, then it's not going to do this. Once again, if you have worked with etching cream on glass, then you know about how much you need, okay? So just something about like this, and I'm going to continue to keep on trucking. So just like this. Now, while we're doing this, I'm not doing Q&A yet, but if we want to throw up a couple comments, I could go ahead and answer a couple of those just to kind of help some of those. Let's see. Also, if I was to etch the mug after I sublimate, would that work? Hate to waste a good blank. Listen, that is a question that I had today. So I actually messaged Michael, right, Mr. Crafty Pants, and I said, hey, I have an idea. I said, what if we sublimated, now this was a tumbler. I said, what if we've sublimated a tumbler And then we did the same thing. He said he tried it. It was not successful. Now, we have not done a coffee mug to try to take that out, but we could definitely put it to the test. I didn't think about the coffee mug, but he did try the tumbler, and he said he did not have success. Now, it could have been the type of tumbler he used, so we have not completely thoroughly went through everything on that yet. But once again, if we come up with anything past this, trust me, we have videos coming. What are plus credits? So plus credits, if you guys are a plus member, what you get is a certain amount. So say, for example, if you're a gold plus member, you get 50 plus credits a month. I believe if you are bronze, there's bronze and then there's silver. I think bronze, you get 10. And those essentially, it's money. So it's free, right? So you get 50. Basically what it is it's 50 free files. So if you have plus credits, you're going to get X amount of free files. So we have a certain amount. I want to say, gosh, it's hundreds of thousands of files that you get to choose from. And it's from, you know, and I'll show y'all guys here in just a little bit, but you're talking sublimation files. You're talking about stuff for your Glowforge, Cricut, and all that stuff. All the same files you see on our site, but we have some that are specifically designed just for plus. So like I said, ultimately, it's 50 free files. All right, let's see here. Where did you buy these tumblers? So this one right here, I got at Walmart. I did link one down below. So if you guys are looking for a certain one from Amazon, as soon as we're done with this live, we're going to link this one. So you guys can find it pretty easy at your local Walmart. But I wanted to grab something that you guys could grab locally as well. So these ones are actually from Walmart. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and continue to go through here. How do you know you have the right kind of tumbler? That's the thing. It's just kind of a learning curve, and that's what we're trying to do. I've done a few for you, but basically you want to make sure that it has either that powder coating or a rubberized coating like this. Now, if you don't know what this looks like, go to your local Walmart. Even if you're not going to buy this one, go get a feel of it. Go feel this tumbler so you can see. It's got this like matte feeling. Have you ever had that matte feeling that you feel like velvet? It's so hard to explain, but just go feel it. You know, go to your local store. Now, the one that I didn't have success with is it was an Ozark Trail one, and it was one of the ones that had a design. So it could have been a certain type because it's supposed to take off paint, you know, powder coating. I've even done a painted one. So it was just a certain material. I wasn't sure what was on it, but what you really want to look for is that powder coating, rubberized, and things like that. All right, let's see. Hashtag Tumbler, will it kill your grass? You know what? Honestly, I'm not sure. So what I've actually been doing, so if you're going to pour it outside, I would find an area that does not have grass. So for example, we have a tree line. We live out in the country. So a tree line that obviously does not have some grass up in there. And that's what we did. So just kind of pouring it in there. So try to find an area. If you've got some rocks or something like that, maybe pour it down in there. But to me, and I don't know, maybe we need to do some research, but I just don't want to tell you guys to pour it in your sink. And the next thing we know, we've got plumbing problems because you guys already know. That's the first thing I taught my daughter when she got a house. I said, do not pour grease in that drain. So I just want to protect y'all. But yeah. I would just, if you have a rocky area or something like that, I would do that. Let's see, can you use a heat gun to speed up the time? You know what? That's something that I'm testing. I'm going to be working on that, and hopefully I can put that to the test this weekend. But that's a question that I had as well, because I'm thinking, and that's why I told y'all is, I have a feeling when we try to do these in the winter, they're not going to go as fast as when we do them in the summertime. So I'm kind of curious too if it speeds it up. Now on the packaging here, it says if you're going to leave it overnight to wrap it, so cover this with saran wrap. And what that's doing is keeping it moist, because once it starts to dry down, you're going to cause that paint to kind of dry back down, if that makes sense. So you want to keep this active and going. So once you wash this off, you want to be working go, 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 go. So make sure that once you start to wash this off, you're working in motion. You're not just going to rinse it and come back later. You got to keep it going, because basically what it's done is it's softened it. But I have a feeling about heating it up as well. All right, let's see here. What stencil vinyl works best? Honestly, I think anything. I think any stencil vinyl is going to work. As long as you've got an adhesion to where it's not going to have a gap underneath, I think you can use anything. I recommend a permanent. I'm using StarCraft today, so I do recommend a permanent, but I think anything, honestly, is going to work. All right, let's see. I would also recommend using, you see how I use the opposite color? I'm going to get one more glob here. I just need one tiny bit of glob. Okay, let me try to get that off there. And what I'm trying to think here. I'm like, what was I saying? vinyl. Oh, I'm using a different color. And the reason why is if we did a blue, it may be hard to see where you're working. So I do recommend using like an opposite color of what you're using. But I also, at that same note, I recommend using colors you don't. So if you get mystery boxes and you have, you know, an ugly burgundy or green that you're not going to use those before you use your good pieces. All right. Or if you purchase, I would not use Dollar Tree. That is one that's a big no, 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 no. Do not use the Dollar Tree vinyl. If I'm going to recommend something, don't do that. Can you use Armor Etch instead of Citrus Strip? You know what? That's something that I'm curious about too, because I know it etches glass, but I do kind of almost have a feeling that could possibly work too. I've never tried Armor Etch on outside of glass, but it could work. I do like this though, compared to that strong smell of Armor Etch. This, like I said, has like an orange, like if you've ever smelled those rags, like I said, it's got an orange smell to it. So it's not overbearing. Now, what I'm doing here, I'm going to bring y'all back down really quickly. So what I'm going to do over those 10 minutes, you said, like you guys, if y'all are just now joining, what I have this propped on is a squeegee with those 2 lines. Try not to bump it because ask me how I know. We've been there. We've done that. So because you can flip it and it can get all over everything. All right. So what you're going to do during those 10 minutes is you're going to keep coming back with your foam brush, which I'm going to grab a new one. One thing I've noticed, it's not that it's eating it, but it makes it soggy. It does make it really, really soggy if you use a foam brush, so you could use a paintbrush. Let me grab one more. All right. And I do recommend these little baby, there are actually even some that are a little bit smaller. I do like the smaller foam brushes. So what we're going to do here is you see how it's starting to go down the side here? I'm going to go ahead and just go like this and clean that up, just like that. And so I'll wipe that back into its little bucket. Just like so. And I'm going to do the same thing to this side. So for 10 minutes while I'm waiting, we're going to continue to do this. All right. Now, the next thing, because I'm not going to show you guys how to wash this off today, because honestly, it's just washing it in the sink. So to go over, as you're going for 10 minutes, let's say in about 5 minutes, I'll come by with either a weeding tool or I ended up using some tweezers, same thing. Don't get too crazy with that sharp point because you're going to scratch that. So just a little bit of like this, right? So at first, and I know you guys can't hear this, is if you can hear, I mean, you can tell that you're down to metal. When you start to tell you're down to metal, you can kind of keep going. It's going to scratch. I'm kind of fluffing this back out. That's what I do as well. So what you're doing is when you scratch this gentle, very gentle, I'm not digging, I'm just scratching, you're going to start to hear it hit metal. Now, what I do is I'm actually looking for that color to lift. So when I start to see the colors actually lifting, I know it's time to rinse, right? But what I'll do is I'll say, okay, I'll scratch this one because I started up here, right? And I'm starting to see, okay, I'm hitting bottom there. So I always fluff everything back out, make sure that it's on top of everything. And so then I'll come down here, I'll check this one. All right. And then if that one's good, I'll come down, I'll check my last one. Because just because this one up here at the top is good does not mean the bottom, because we ended here. And then throughout time too, if I notice and I feel like it's pulling away from this letter, I can fluff in some pieces here or come back and just add more total. You definitely want to make sure it's keeping on top. And then once again, if I see drippage, come back and I will continue to do this, right? Now, keeping it like this, I'm not having to worry about, number one, if I had it on my surface and I put it straight up, this is going to get all over my work surface. You know, I mean, where this going like this, it just gives you an easier way to control what's happening here. So once you get to this point right here, like I said, I would recommend designate yourself a little bucket and then fill that with some warm water. Now, if we can do some further research, or if anybody knows some further research that we can actually link to, that you can wash this in your sink, then I would say, okay, but right now I'd say do it in a bowl. And just because, like I said, some sinks are powder coated and you could ruin your sink and that would stink. So like for me, I have a granite counter. We would have to take up some granite to get to that sink and that would not be fun. So like I said, get you some warm water, not hot where it's hard to touch, right? Get you some warm water here. Then you're going to get that in there. Now, before I get it in there, I actually take a paper towel, baby wipe, and I'll wipe off all of that excess, get that in the trash, get the other one, wipe off the excess. All right. And then I will, at that point, once there's nothing on there, all that's remaining is my stencil. I'll get it in here. You're going to take your sponge. I actually dip this in a little bit more citrus strip just on a corner, and then you're going to be scrubbing. You may notice going with the grain of your metal, it's easier to go in this direction, and it may be easier to go in this direction. And you're just going to scrub that. Once you get to a certain point, you can dip into that water and just keep going. It's going to take just a couple of minutes. At first, it may seem like some is tougher than the others. It's good to go. And if you're feeling like you need to, you can go back in with your tweezers, not a lot of pressure, and you can nicely get that going again and then rub it. I promise you, it is so easy. But like I said, it'll take you 1 or 2 times. So obviously we can't just kind of let it keep going here, and I couldn't have the water warm enough to do so. So what we've done with the magic of television is I have done one before the live. So right before we went live, I did this, and I knew I did not need to prep this a day before. I could do it the day of because it literally takes 10 minutes. So once you're done, this is what it's going to look like. I did not throw this in the dishwasher. I washed it in the bucket, and then I hand washed it with some dish soap. I did not wash it in my sink until I knew that there was nothing else on here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and bring you guys back down, and look at how good this is. I want you guys to see how clean and crisp those lines are. It is so insane. Is this not crazy that our Cricut could do that? Like so cool. I'm so excited that we can etch things outside of glass. It is amazing. Now I'm gonna try to bring y'all up, so hopefully y'all can see here. Do y'all see those little rough marks? Hopefully y'all can maybe pick it up here and there compared to some of these. And that's where if you get a little bit too crazy with your scrubby, I think it's in my bucket. If you get a little too rough with that, you're scratching your metal. And so that's why I said, I think even just using the white, it's one of those things where we're going to learn as we go with this process, using those white, dry erase markers, and using those or this side to really rub. If you need to get in a little bit here and there, but you're going to keep this a lot cleaner. Now, this is with the sponge, so you can see it still looks amazing, and it just looks so stinking cool, right? Absolutely love the way that came out. And once again, now, once you are completely done with this, right? We've done the first side, then we can flip it over, and now immediately we can get the back. So if you do want to put on those numbers like you've seen before, where it says drink at 1 p.m., 2 p.m., whatever, you can now go back, do the exact same process and put something on the back. Or if you want to personalize them, you can go in and I can add the name Sarah on here if I wanted to. So you can do whatever you wanted to this side as well, or leave it blank. But I just love these. This is a great way to encourage somebody to drink that water, especially during these hot summer months. I don't know about y'all, but it's like 100-something degrees here. It is super hot. I'm going to bring it down one more time just to give y'all guys another look at that. But look at those lines. It is so stinking good. I absolutely love the way that came out. So, and once again, you can see where the, it went through that logo too. So if you don't mind that, you can do it here, or you can definitely do it on this side like that. Yes, magic eraser. There we go. Awesome. So just going over this one more time. Let's go ahead and I'll bring this back in here. At this point, you see we're still here. So we would go in with that sponge. Wipe it off. Make sure you do not get it on your sides at all. And I'll go back in with that sponge. If you wipe off your side like that, go back in and pop it down just like so. All right. And then now I'm going to go ahead and hopefully I can show y'all and see if we can't get down to the bottom a little bit. All right, I can. I'm going to bring y'all up. Okay. So y'all can see this. Do y'all see that? That's what y'all guys are looking for. See that? See how that's coming off there? And I'm not pushing hard. I'm just using it to scratch it. So hopefully you guys can see that. I'm making sure y'all can see. So I'd say, okay, that one's ready. Now I would make sure and kind of fluff that back up there. And then I would come down here. And you see now this one's not ready. I'm getting a little bit, but not very much. So that one's not ready quite yet. And then same thing. Maybe I want to test down here. So we need just a little bit longer. So I'd fluff those completely back out. But this is close to ready. So hopefully that helps you guys know what you're looking for. Now, whenever you go to wash this off, once again, your vinyl may start to tear up, right? So as you're scrubbing this in the sink, not in your sink, your buckets, you may notice some of that vinyl starting to peel and stuff. That's fine. It is totally fine. It is going to be okay. And if you notice that those edges and you're afraid of scraping the other area, you're totally fine. Get up in there and really rub those edges and get those off. You can go back in with your tweezers and kind of clean up that edge just a little bit, but take your time, let it set. If you need to in your area, maybe you need to let it set for the whole 20 minutes. Keep in mind, you can keep this on here, I think 20 24 hours, I wouldn't do that. You don't need it. It's excessive. But take your time. If you need 20 minutes, you may need 20 minutes where I only need 10 minutes because depending, remember, we have humidity to factor in. Maybe it's 105 here. Maybe it's going to be 80 where you're at. Keep those things in mind. It may take you a little bit longer. Hey, and it may take you 5 minutes. So definitely keep those in mind. All right, so let's go ahead and get ready for Q&A. All right, here, let's go ahead and get going. Can we get these products in the UK? I am not sure. I'm going to go ahead and we have a couple girls from the UK, so let's see if they can chime in. If not, hopefully they can get down in some comments after here. All right, let's see here. What do we got? At Crystal Ann, is the free month offer available all day today? Yes. I do believe it's during, I'm not sure. I'll let somebody answer in the comments, or maybe we can flash it up here. Maybe Brittany can get that for us. But I do believe that you're going to be able to click that link. Now, I don't know if it's going to be I'm sure it's going to be outside of this live. Maybe it's going to be available all day. Once again, I'll let somebody answer that. So definitely make sure you check it out because it's an entire month for free. If you're not happy with it, you can always come back and cancel, right? All right, let's see here. What else do we have? Let's see. All right. Can I cancel before the free month trial is up? Yes, you can. So try it out for that month. And if you decide, you know what, take it all the way. That way you can really try out that Plus membership. If you decide this is just not for me, then go ahead and cancel. But like I said, take it all the way as far as you can. But yeah, you can definitely do that. All right, let's see here. What do we got? Do you ever use a seal like Mod Podge dishwasher proof to protect it? No, you do not have to. So that's a really cool thing about this. When this etches is off, it's not going to peel anywhere else. This is good to go. You don't need any sort of sealer. So the free offer, thank you so much, Brittany. The free month offer is available until June 12th. Yay. So we have several days to do this. So if you guys are watching this on the replay, you guys can check it out as well. You're going to find it down in the description below. Right now, you can find it in the comments. So thank you so much. We are excited. You guys make sure y'all take advantage of that. We don't hardly ever do that. This is the first time I've personally seen it. All right, let's see. What is the transfer paper used? So the transfer paper that I'm actually using, I have it linked down below. It is 143. I want to say they call theirs Magic Mask, but I love it. It is amazing. And once again, I have a link for you. All right, let's see. Is that a Cricut Squeegee? No, this one is actually, you can get them from Amazon or whatever. This one came from 143. These things are like $2. I do believe I linked some down below to Amazon. You can get 2 for $5, different colors, and I love them. All right, let's see how often do you do live? Okay, so we go live every single Monday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Now, I know today is a Tuesday, but we tried to move it for you guys because we knew a lot of you guys were going to be gone for the holiday. But we're trying to play around with it to see what works best. But as of right now, we go live every single Monday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then we also go live, I believe, at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time on the very last Wednesday of the month where we do our dollar deal. All right, let's see here. Does the design come with a commercial license? Is that part of the membership? Now let's go ahead and head back over. Let me screen share just 2 seconds so I can show y'all. Let me see if I can pull it up here really quick. All right. Now something I want to point out to you guys really quickly. If you guys are a Plus member, all of the Plus files are going to include a commercial license, all of them. So for Plus members, all of your Plus files do include a commercial license. Now, I do believe, and we can go look at our tiers here in just a minute to make sure I'm not overstepping on some things, but you even get extras. You get like, especially if you're a Gold Plus member, you get like print on demand where you can send it to third-party companies to print for you and stuff. So lots of those. Now, if you're purchasing any designs just off of our site, one thing that you want to pay attention for is, does it include that commercial license? So this one right here is a premium license. That's what's included with this. So if you come down here, it will say, so commercial use license, all products can be used. So right now, I'm trying to think, let me think. Brittany, somebody in the comments may have to help me because I want to say if it does this, that it does include it. All products can be used for commercial use. So I do believe you can use this for commercial use. So you can put these files on a t-shirt and sell them. You can print the sublimation designs out and sell those. So if it's considered a finished product, you guys can definitely do that. So that's something that's included. Now, what I'm going to do is first, I'm going to show you the Plus membership area. If you're a Plus member, you're going to have something up here that says Plus membership. And you're going to click on it. Now, depending, for example, I am a Gold Plus member. So you may notice if you're a Gold Plus member, you have a few extras down here. Like, for example, you have Designscape, which is a free program for the Gold Plus membership that allows you to edit and stuff in there, which I'm actually going to show y'all really quick just so I can explain. So it looks just like this. It's amazing. It really reminds me a lot of like Procreate and things like that. It's really cool. You can create SVGs. You can bundle things. You can do all kinds. I even love using this for my Glowforge, y'all. So if you're Gold Plus, it does come with that. Now, back over here, Plus membership. So when you come here, you can see that we have all of these files here. So it says access to 202,552 exclusive designs, right? So over here on the left-hand side, you can see crafters, photos, all sorts of stuff. But if you click on, for example, crafters, you're also going to get another drop down that says SVGs, sublimation, paper crafts, and all those. So you can find all of our newer designs that as we're coming out with up here towards the top. I mean, look at these. So stinking cute. I love it. We have crafty pants. So cute. This one right here is adorable. Lots and lots of fun stuff. And so like, look at this one right here. So cute. These are Plus. Only our Plus members have access, and it's only 1 Plus credit. So, and this is the way the Plus credits work. So if you get those free Plus credits today, or if you're a Plus member, try out that membership. All you got to do is get now for free, hit confirm, download now, and now it's on my computer. I don't have to take it to the cart or anything like that. I just add them as I want them. And then when I want to go find them, I can come over here to my Plus purchases and I can find those a whole lot easier as well. So if you need to re-download them and all of that, you can do so. So once again, if I want to narrow it down and I want to see what sublimation files there are, I could type it out right there and just kind of quickly scroll through some sublimation designs and stuff. So this is giving y'all some sneak peeks. I mean, look at this tumbler wrap right here for those really cool, what do you call them? The beer can glasses and stuff too. I'm telling y'all, if you're not a Plus member, you guys are missing out. Y'all have to come check it out. Once again, 1 free month until July 12th, you guys can have access to 1 free month. And also we're going to give away that here in just a minute, but just to quickly go over that. Also, there is some bonuses that you guys can get to get those extra points by sharing on Facebook and all that fun stuff. And then you also have freebies and stuff too. So as you can see, this is free. Download it now. Download now. Let's go into my computer. So all sorts of fun stuff like that. So make sure you guys definitely check that out. All right, let's see if we have any more questions. All right, let's see. Can you use the points if you aren't a Plus member, or must you become a Plus member first? Now, I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, they'll do that here in the comments. I believe if we give you the Plus credits that we are going to give you those. I don't know how they're going to do that, honestly. I don't know if they're going to allow you access to it for the 50 credits for until they're gone. I'm not too sure about that. You may have to sign up. I'm not sure. Just for the free, maybe. I'm not too sure. All right, let's see here. Are the fumes from this dangerous at all? Now, I want to say it did not, like, I do recommend doing a well-ventilated area. So you can definitely do this outside. Usually that's what's recommended. Speaking of, I need to run this down really quick. That's usually what's recommended. Is even with the etching, I just recommend to do it outside. But the fumes, there is no fumes from it. I have a really subtle smell of like an orange peel. I missed it at Design Bundles. How long do you leave it on? 10 minutes. So right now, this should be completely ready to go, honestly. And I'm going to bring it back down to show y'all one more time what you're looking for, because we're going to check down here to see if it's ready to go. You see how you can already start to see it kind of bubble from where I was picking before? So if I scrape this, see how it's taking it down to the middle? That's what you're looking for. So you can just check a couple different spots. So I've got one up here I haven't even done yet, just to show you. And as long as you're getting out in the middle like that, you're good to go. So this guy's actually ready to wash. But once again, I don't have the water and all that kind of stuff to do that here now. So, but I did do a finished one so you guys can see. Honestly, it's just as easy as washing it off and using your sponge. All right, will that etching, will that etching chemical work on a clear mug? You know, it possibly might. We are in the process of testing lots of different things with this stuff, so just stay tuned. All right, let's see here. Where are you disposing of the water in the red tub? So what I recommend to dispose this is to, if you have, like, I live out in the woods I live out in the country, if you will, the woods. But we have a tree line out there. So we try to, I've got an area that has no grass or anything, just kind of a dead area. Also, if you have like some rocks or something like that, you could always pour it down in there as well. I just don't want to put it down in the septic system and all of that. So that's just what I recommend. I recommend washing them in a bowl like this, about this much warm water, not hot, just warm water, and that's just what I use, because something like this can fit in here perfectly, y'all. And you don't want a ton of water because you don't want it splashing out. And you know what I did? I put it on top of my cutting board at the house, so that was not on my counter. I set it right on top of my cutting board, and that's what I did. All right, let's see here. Does the tumbler have to be sealed afterward? It does not. And what's really cool is if you miss a few tiny pieces, you could throw it in your dishwasher too, and that's really going to help with any other pieces that you can't get off. All right, let's see here. I missed it, but do you have to mix or dilute the citrus strip? No, you do not. You're just going to put it on there. Once again, definitely use a dabbing motion and not a streaking. You don't want to push it underneath there, and just let it sit for 10 minutes. All right, let's see. Has anyone tried a Yeti? Now, I will tell you, I've got plenty of Yetis at the house, and I am on a mission to do it. So I will give you guys an update on that very soon. If you guys are not already, make sure you'll hit that notification bell while you're here. That little bell down there, click that, because you're going to see when we go live or any future tutorials, because when we put these things to test, we're definitely going to do some videos. So make sure you guys are subscribed. We really would love it if you would subscribe, and then also make sure you guys hit that notification bell. All right, let's see. Is there a way we can get notices? Yep, I guess I just went over that. Yes, so hit that notification bell, and that definitely will help, so you guys can get notified before I go live. All right, is there a tutorial on using Designspace or Designscape? So Designspace, we do have some tutorials. And if you are talking about the program Designscape, yes, we have tutorials on our channel. You can just search out Designscape, and we still have more coming, but you can definitely find several there. All right, is it best to use a foam brush or a bristle? Either one works. Now, for me, what I love about the foam brushes is I toss it in the trash. It's not another thing I have to rinse or anything. But if you want to save some cash and have one brush designated, you can do that too. So you can use a paintbrush. You can use whatever you would like. All right, let's see here. What does the magic eraser do? So the magic eraser and something like this. So the Brillo pad here has like a rough texture, and it just helps get moving faster. I have found, I don't think that honestly, because people are testing this, people are trying to figure out what it is. And I 100% don't think it's all about this. It's more about pressure. So you can actually use the soft side. And the reason why I don't recommend the Brillo over like a magic eraser, it's not going to scratch it. This does give a little bit of a scratching. And if I wanted a look that looks just like the laser from the Glowforge, for example, I don't want it to be scuffed in some areas. So like I said, it's going to take some time and technique, but it's more about pressure, honestly. All right, let's see here. Do you take the stencil off before scrubbing? No. So leave the reason why you want to leave that stencil is so that way you're not sitting here well, I guess I could do it this one. So that way you're not scrubbing the heck out of this, because when I do this, I don't want to scrub all the rest of this. So the stencil allows you to be rubbing that stencil and then just taking off the areas you need. So leave that stencil until, you just can't leave it anymore. Even up to the point to where I'm getting around those nice edges and stuff, it'll start to tear up and all that, but that's fine. I just keep on going. But really, honestly, like I said, it's about that pressure, and you'll get it as you go along. You'll realize, okay, it's working this way better than it's working that way. All right, so I think that was the last question. So let's go ahead and get ready for the giveaway. All right, so let's go ahead and hit that draw button right here. There we go. All right, so good luck. We are going to, good luck. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. Joanne, thank you so much for watching here on YouTube. You are the winner of 50 plus credits. So all you have to do is reach out to Mel at Design Bundles. Just send us an email, mel@designbundles.net. Let us know that you won on today's live, those 50 plus credits, and we will definitely add those to your account. Now, once again, make sure, even if you're watching on the replay, you guys check out that free month's membership up until July 12th. You guys have access. Try it all the way out. If you're not a fan, give it all the way up until that time, and you can definitely cancel. But I think you guys are honestly going to love it. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We will see you guys on the next one.